personal and professional life, in technology and creativity, and in your faith. Be inspired, be encouraged, be transformed. Together, let's take your power back with our host, Peak Performance Breakthrough Coach, Kim Yeater.
Well, hello there, my freedom-loving patriots. Welcome to the Take Your Power Back show. I'm your host, Peak Performance Master Coach, Kim Yeater. Today's empowering program will encourage you to step into your God-given power, take action in your leadership, and allow your voice to be heard. In today's Take Your Power Back show, Rico, Dream Big. Joining us is the woman with big dreams, Trevian Kuti. Trevian is an American publicist and lobbyist who worked for celebrities including R. Kelly, Kanye West, and Regina King. She was once described by the New York Times as the brand that is willing to defy, and by others in the industry as a fashion force to be reckoned with. Kuti dared to go where no retailer to date has gone. She is an Emmy Winning Designer. You may recognize her as Trevian Kuti, the woman charged with 3 felonies and indicted in the state of Georgia with Donald J. Trump for alleged attempt to influence the testimony of Fanny Willis in the 2020 United States presidential election in Georgia. Let's find out who this Trevian Kuti really is and what she brings to the table. We're going to take a moment to thank our sponsors who make the Take Your Power Back show possible.
When I started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, with the help of my dedicated employees, we now have hundreds of products, some you might not even know about. To get the word out, we're having a $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. And for the first time ever, our 6-pack towel sets, you guessed it, just $25. Our brand new 4-pack dish towels, $25. And I've never done this before. Premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, any size, any loft level, even king size for only $25. And there's so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code for our $25 extravaganza. Order $75 and over. Your entire order ships absolutely free.
Absolutely love Mike Lindale. He is our freedom-loving patriot. And let me tell you, I have met this Trevian Kuti at some of the biggest events. So today, we've been in the same roads that Mike Lindale has traveled. So I have a feeling you're just going to absolutely love this woman. But one more sponsor I want to say a special thank you to. And actually, I'm going to throw one more in there because I think it's really important you guys hear about this. Our first up is Patriots Made. Did you know you have the power to actually change where you're shopping and make an impact on what's happening in the economic system here in America? We are in the midst of economic warfare where you're spending your money, you're voting. So where are you spending your money? Are you shopping at the big box retailers like Procter & Gamble, Colgate and Palmolive, and Johnson & Johnson? And if you are, you're feeding into BlackRock and Vanguard. Yes, you are. If you want to bankrupt the corrupt, make the switch to an American manufacturer that doesn't have the junk in the trunk that you'd find in the big box retailers. Better, safer, a whole lot less expensive. And not only do you have access to over 400 products that are stellar products, you actually have access to never ever hormoned or antibiotic black label beef. So check it out today. Go to patriotsmade.com/Kim. That's patriotsmade.com/Kim. Last but not least, Verity Metals. If you have not heard of Verity Metals, guys, I want you to go to veritymetals.com. Why? Because gold, silver, can you see me? You want gold and silver, you want to shore yourself up, and you want to shore yourself up now. Take your IRA, take your 401k, and transfer it into gold, silver, platinum in hand. Depositories that are local, that is depositories that are local to set you up for success. Go to veritymetals.com, talk to Matt Geiger when you put your information in. He is absolutely incredible. He will personally meet your needs. That's veritymetals.com. And without further ado, this is a show we have been waiting for. She is a very special lady. And I just got to tell you, love her tremendously. We are going to welcome her into the room. And to give you a little bit of backstory again, this is the woman with big dreams. On our show today, Rico, Dream Big. And if you weren't here in the beginning of the show, then just know that Trevian, let me get her name straight here. It's Trevian Kuti. Did you hear? Trevian Kuti. You may know her from the Rico case with Trump. If you don't, you're going to know her now. She's a warrior. Let's bring her on in. Trevian, welcome to the Take Your Power Back show.
Hello.
Hey, hey. Hello, beautiful woman. The last time we connected, you were in your army outfit. You were decked up, and we were at AmFest together. And I had the privilege of bringing you in, you catching me up on what was happening on an interview for the Take Your Power Back show. So, Trevian, there is so much going on right now. We got some news yesterday about the Rico case. You want to tell us what that news was that was just announced to the public?
Well, there's a lot of news going on with this Rico case, but the most current, which I think is very important, and we may have Fanny Willis defy these orders. The judge ordered all communications between Jack Smith and Fanny Willis. Now, if you don't know what that means, this is a state case. Federal government should not be involved. And the fact that there was any communication at all between these two entities is almost a crime. So whether Fanny will turn over those communications, whether Fulton County's DA's office will do that, remains to be seen. She's defied every other order to date. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how staunch the judge gets as far as, and thank you so much for having me on the show.
Oh, an absolute honor. So the news was reporting yesterday that everything was kind of put on hold. Like Trump's team reached out and said, hey, let's drop this case. Let's release this case. Done. You've got no merit. It's not constitutional, right? So
Well,
do you think, go on.
So Steve Sadow, who is the lead attorney for President Trump, actually made that demand. What we know, if no one else knew, we had a hearing scheduled on the books yesterday, December 5th, to disqualify Fanny Willis. Fanny Willis cut a deal with the Georgia State Court of Appeals, and they canceled the hearing because this case will imminently be dismissed. So in order to save her career, so the world wouldn't hear all of the dirt and evidence that we had on Fanny Willis, they canceled the hearing for the trade-off of dismissing the case. Now, just know there's a filing coming up very, very soon that's going to put fire under the behind of Fanny Willis, and she might catch on fire. Let's just say that.
Dang. Okay, so I have to tell you, in my neck of the woods, we're hearing that there was an actual confession that came out by Fanny Willis and her daughter. And that word may have come through the GBI or somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm. Well,
anything about that?
You know what? Until something is proven, just not, because every media outlet watches me 24/7. Any statement I make, any 3 words that might be wrong to collectively, it's going to be a story tomorrow. So I have not heard that. I don't know if counsel has heard that. Otherwise, I think I would have heard it, but that remains to be seen. But I'm going to take a look. I'm going to do some, deep diving and see if I can find out what all is going on in that aspect.
So good. So here's a question that everybody's been asking. This Trevian Kuti, is she guilty? Is she innocent? How the heck did this woman get wrapped up in this case?
On the terms of my bond agreement, social media, you can't talk about the facts of the case. What I will say is I've never been worried about this case from the moment the indictment was announced. I was like, okay, great. I get to take out Fanny Willis and it would give me a chance to subpoena the person that I was indicted for influencing. So that I was looking forward to that opportunity so that the world could see, okay, how big of a joke these positions are. So unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen, because I'm getting, a little birdie is saying this is going to happen before January 8th. So yeah, let's stay tuned.
We'll stay tuned. And listen, you said I wasn't worried. So
Not a single second.
let's take a picture.
I
Look at this mugshot.
I practiced that mugshot for 2 hours because I knew it was going to be history. Being indicted with a former president, soon to be sitting president again, with a mugshot, that's history. Children's children are going to read about that and see this mugshot. So I had to make sure, it was going to be as historical as the
mugshot. Girl, this is, I'm searching you out last night. We're looking through all your photos and I'm like, oh man, this was well-timed, well-planned, and so sinister and kind of like, hey, it's all
no makeup. My skin was glowing, it was great.
Oh my gosh. So, it appears like all of this is a great big show. It's time for some popcorn. It's time for we, the American people, to just sort of sit back and watch it unfold. Now, the trick is, though, can we sit back, watch it unfold if it were a movie that we're playing out, and yet still be in action to take our power back from those that have been stealing our power?
Well, I think, the country spoke, and they spoke loud and clear, and it rang from every corner of this country. We want our lives back, and we're not only taking our power back, we're taking our life. We were, kept in captivity from the mainstream media. People, you would be blocked or banned on every social media outlet if you said anything, about the COVID vaccine, if you said anything about Kamala. I've been banned on X 4 times. This is my 5th X account. So, I was suspended by posting a video of another man calling Fanny Willis a pig in pearls. And Fanny Willis, she's not a skinny girl. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't lie, and they banned me. So this is my 5th account, and fortunately, I've been able to build it to about 20,000, almost 20,000.
Oh my gosh.
But, yeah.
Now, is that not an example for every single one of us that when you are shut down, whether it be in a personal relationship or collectively amongst a people or deep state shutting you down, it is such an example to all of us that you continue to press on, that you look for what's the next step I can take, right? So I love that, Trevian. So you have quite a background. You are an Emmy award-winning designer. Did I get that correct?
Not a designer. I'm an Emmy award-winning stylist.
Stylist. Thank you for that correction.
So when you dress a client for an award show and they win, you also get an Emmy, because that dress, that gown that the whole world sees, that's your work. So my client also won Golden Globes and an Oscar. So, love her to death. Regina King is one of the most professional, real, sweet, one of the sweetest people that I know, and so easy to work with.
So amazing.
She's fabulous. But I will tell you, you're saying, just the topic that we were just on.
Yeah.
The FBI pulled up on me in the middle of nowhere. So they attempted to, they did subpoena me and tried to force me to come to DC and testify in the Jack Smith case, which I had absolutely nothing to do with. I would encourage everyone to know their rights. I was able to avoid that because I do know my rights, and they completely overstepped. They subpoenaed my emails, my Uber records, you name it. The FBI tagged me for 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
So had no idea. But when they come, he came with the subpoena. His name was Agent Myers. He goes, Miss Kuti, we have a subpoena for you. And it was early in the morning. I said, I bet you do. And he said, well, we're going to need you in DC in the next couple of days. And I'm looking at him like, the next couple of days. I say that to him because I know if you're subpoenaed, you have 30 days to even respond to it. And then he goes, well, do you plan to comply with the subpoena? And I told him, I said, I plan to forward this to my attorney and we will respond accordingly. So I will advise everyone to use that same method if they ever show up on your doorstep, because you have the right to make sure you do what, even if you are subjugated to it, you have the right to do it on your terms.
Wow. That is really powerful. We need to have those tools in place. I often say there's two very specific tools that we need to be practicing and filling ourselves with. One is God's word. Okay. Putting on that full armor of God. That is key. And the second is the Constitution. And we need to know our state rights as well. Now, our Constitution supersedes the state rights, right? So we've got to know what that is. So I love that you just laid that out for us. Now, we've heard, everyone from our dear friends, Tina Peters, Mesa County Clerk, exposing the election fraud, her movie basically called Selected, right?
Yeah.
Selection Code was the Rosetta Stone of the election fraud. The FBI kept her on lockdown for a year. They destroyed her home. She was a Gold Star mom, destroyed literally threw her son's belongings. Her son passed away in duty, had never opened that box. Like, there is no heart behind them. They are bound to destroy your life. So knowing your rights and putting them into practice is key, Trevian. So where would you direct?
And I actually, Tina and I did the Steve Bannon show together. I actually, we've had some conversation and we were just giving each other, just like pounds, like, look, we got, and actually it was at AmFest.
It was I remember you two.
So,
you two were talking right by where I was, and you were, it was amazing. Yep.
We were like, don't give up. And she's like, look, you got on the right, guard right now, because whenever it is that I am in a situation where it's political, even in my mugshot, I had on military, because I am at war and I'm coming dressed for war. It was, the complete head to toe situation. So I thank God that I've been built to deal with situations like this. It gives me no stress. For me, I hate to lose. It's the thrill of victory that keeps me going. So they don't even know who they're messing with. Fanny girl, your days, like, everything is about to collapse on her. Everything.
You said a moment ago that you were built for this. I really believe that's a message for the people. I often say our mess is our message, our test, our testimony, our pain, our purpose. You have such a vast background. I don't know the younger years or your childhood or mom, dad, that journey, but what was it specifically that you feel has given you that tenacity, the ability to handle adversity and rise when conflict occurs rather than shrink back?
I think I can go back to, I think I was like 6 or 7 years old, and it was a snow day. And my dad kept telling me, oh, school's canceled. And I'm like, no, it's not. He's like, school's canceled. I'm like, no, it's not. And so he's like, okay, go on to school. And I have a sister a year younger than me. So we're walking to school in 3 feet of snow. We get to school. Of course, school is canceled. So we're walking back, and then my sister just falls out. She's like, I can't go anymore. I can't do it. I can't. I'm like, get up. She's like, no, I can't. So I had to put her up on my shoulders in the snow and carry her the rest of the way home. And that was the moment I said, you know what? I don't ever want to be down to where I can't get back up and fight for my own survival. So I think that's the first moment that I realized that I wasn't taking any mess off of anybody.
Absolutely incredible. And you certainly aren't taking any mess off of anybody ever right now. Okay, so let me ask you this. There is a transition team for President Trump being put together as we speak.
Mhm.
Is there a possibility that that might be a consideration for you?
I'm going to tell you my ultimate goal is the Trump administration, and I'm not going to stop until I get there. So that's how I'm going to put that.
Okay, I love it. I love it. And so I heard that you actually were the key person that turned or encouraged Kanye West to really get to know this Donald J. Trump.
I don't know if I can say I forced him to get to know him, because you can't force Kanye to do anything. But
Yeah.
But I had the Make America Great Again hats on. We were at work. We were going to a museum for something or another. And I was wearing my hat. He's like, "Why are you wearing that hat?" Even though he made the hat. He's like, "Why are you wearing that hat?" He's like, "You might offend people." And I'm like, "But sir," I was like, "Yeah, not right now." But you saw him sitting in the Oval,
Yes,
Trump
yes.
being completely all ears, to, what he had to say, what his ideas were.
Yes.
Joe Brown trying to free Larry Hoover, who is a prisoner in Chicago. It's an amazing thing that you can ask Kanye to this day, "Are you still with Trump?" He was like, "I thought you knew." He'll tell you he is never deterring from Donald Trump. And actually, we came back from the White House when we were staying we were working out of the Waldorf Astoria in Chicago. Went to the White House. Kanye said, "TK, pack up everything. We're moving to Trump." We were staying on the entire 26th floor of the Trump Hotel in Chicago for 3 months. So we left the White House and boom, went from the Waldorf to Trump, and Trump was just so hospitable. People don't know
Incredible.
the things that he does for people, but he does a lot for people.
Well, there's a photo I was looking at last night where they are locked arms. President Trump and Kanye are just that hot. And it was, when you look at something, you're like, okay, is this fake? Is it real? It was so sincere. Like you could feel the encouragement. You could feel the brotherhood. You could feel the love. That was really, really special. So that leads me to my next question. What does Trump's presidential win mean for this case?
All the cases Georgia is the last case remaining. They all have to go. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about any of that. It's just, when it will happen. Everybody was expecting, everybody stupid was expecting Kamala to win, and they would have started prosecuting Trump and everybody immediately. The tables turned on November 5th. All of the prosecution, it's gone out the window, and right now it's just logistics that are being panned out, but it's over.
In the perfect world, what do you see happening with this case? In the most perfect, here it is.
What I see happening is this case is the corruption in which the process of this indictment, how it played out, will be exposed to, the country. Fanny Willis, her political career or her career in the justice system will end infinitely. And I do think there'll be some monetary award damages. So.
Well, we're praying that everything is exposed and laid bare. That's what we're praying for right now. And I say, thank you for being in the fight. Thank you for showing up.
I'm honored. You got one of the best warriors you can have.
Sister, you are a warrior. Okay, so we're going to traverse for just a second. It was funny. I was getting ready this morning and for the show, and it popped in my mind. I'm like, I really want to ask this to Trevian, but should I ask it on this show? And I thought, you know what? I have an opportunity to be with you. And I know that our audience has been, being filled with all the mainstream media news, as well as behind the scenes, like maybe the real news, giving the reports on Diddy and all the people connected to Diddy. Okay. It's like we thought Epstein was bad. Well, hello. And really all of this is the, what do they call it? The tip of the iceberg.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right? There's so much down deep. So we know that Kanye West was kind of speaking out against Diddy, giving us hints about Diddy. So give us the lowdown. What's the deal with that whole situation?
So I've worked in Hollywood for 10 years.
Yes.
I have photos with Diddy. I've been to a Diddy party, but it was the Diddy party that was at Soho House. The Diddy party that was in a venue. Kanye West knew, but everybody knew that Diddy was the devil. The industry accepted the fact that Diddy was the devil. There was not a single person in Hollywood. If you didn't get an invite to a Diddy party, you were a minion in Hollywood. Okay, so anybody who was anybody got an invitation to a Diddy party. Everybody knew how he rolled. It wasn't new. I don't think there are a lot of victims. I think there were a lot of opportunists, with Diddy being the bigger opportunist. So there was no secret in the industry from any corner. Everybody knew, and the people still went in and they got, I'm not going to say they got what they deserved, but they got themselves into a position that, now they regret. But everybody knew, and people defied those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kanye, let's talk about Kanye for a second. I mean, he's not here. You worked very closely with him during a time of crisis in his life, which makes you a real crisis expert, which is why you probably could have a tremendous impact being part of that administrative team. So what was Kanye's take on Diddy?
He told everybody that Diddy was a federal agent. He told everybody a long time ago. The reason why Diddy could be out so long doing all the damage that he did was because he may have allegedly been connected to the FBI. There were so many different previous incidents, shootings in a club where people took the fall for Diddy, different accidents, him beating up people, leaving bloody bathrooms, and the police being paid off. Like, there were constant situations, and Ye was, the only person in the industry that put the facts out for everybody to hear and didn't care what people thought about it.
Okay, so I want to know, what do you see for the industry moving forward? Okay, and one more thing, we're just going to leave this out there as you're kind of formulating. What would you say to those people who maybe are victims, but maybe victims of Diddy, right? And maybe those that at the time saw opportunity, but they have been pricked by their conscience to tell the truth, but they're so afraid to come out. What would your advice be?
I mean, why not come out? I mean, everybody, if you're going to come out, the time is now. He's been denied bond 3 times. He's not coming out of jail. He's not going to send a hitman for you. If you want to get your story out, it's now. The case has to be built right now if it is that Diddy is going to face any consequences. Everybody who's afraid are afraid for their own ego. They're not, that's what that's what's keeping them silent. They don't want their friends to know that they participated in such behavior or were subjugated to such behavior, because in the hip hop industry, gay is a dirty word. Like, that whole situation, you never want to be caught up in that. And then what I see for the industry, I see us going back to the stages of COVID for the industry, where people it wasn't about celebrity. It wasn't about TV. It wasn't about nobody was interested in anything but the essentials in life. The mailman and the person picking up the garbage and the person working at the grocery store was more important than any celebrity. So that's where I see, if this election didn't do anything, it was a correction. And so Hollywood, with the Diddy and Epstein lists, on the table, hopefully Cash Patel will keep his word and roll those out on day one, because people deserve to know. So if we, that's a correction. Hollywood is going to get a correction when those lists, become public.
Election correction, baby. Come on. So good. And so I love it. I love the idea of going back to the essentials, not the masks, not the lockdown, but truly what's important, the essentials. We've got to go and we've got to do the first things first, the most important things first. I think that is really, really key. Dream big. we call today's show Rico Dream Big, right? And actually, let me pull this up. I want to show this banner one more time to people. I want them just to see this because it's such a great picture. Here we go. We're going to put that up. So we've got Donald J. Trump with a big sign behind him saying, "Dream big again. What's possible?" with him taking that position of leadership and representing we the people. We've got you, Trevian Kuti, on there who got as much media attention as Donald J. Trump. And then there's the Rico in the red, white, and blue. We're taking our power back, America. We're exposing, right? So if we are going to dream big, we the people, Trevian, we the people are going to dream big in the midst of adversity, because it might still get a little ugly before inauguration and maybe in the next year. In order for we the people to take our power back locally, like General Flynn says, local action equals national impact. It is going to take we the people coming together and going to the board of supervisors, the city councils, taking a stand in the Constitution and putting God back in his rightful place. But how do we dream big in the midst of adversity and what's so right now in our world?
I think everybody individually has to first dream big, because if you're not making your dreams come true, you're not being productive, you're not living your best life. So I feel like everybody has an obligation to accomplish the goals that they set out. And dreams, to me, I think those are ideas, and then you have to put the work behind those ideas. So the word dream, I like to go bigger. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, this is the concept. Now I'm going to execute this concept. And once I execute this concept, I'm going to get to my goal. So I think dream has taken a life that almost becomes elusive, and it, not tangible. For me, I call them ideas, and I would rather say big ideas,
Yes.
So I just feel like there's everything that I've set out to do to this point in my life, I've accomplished it. And now I have other things that I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I don't stop until I get there. And somehow, through the grace of God, I never know how I'm going to get there. Unfortunately, I was indicted in a Rico, but I had to go through this process to get to where it is that I am going to be. So I take everything as a blessing. It builds my strength. I'm going to run a marathon in less than 24 hours tomorrow. It'll be my second marathon in 37 days. So I'm finishing this year harder than ever.
Oh my gosh. So in the midst of all of this chaos and adversity, you have continued to set your goals. You've continued to train, because you don't just go run a marathon. You've continued to be disciplined, to take the action steps daily. And you know what? Just to show up for yourself. And you've really showed up for all of us. So Trevian Kuti, an honor to have you on the Take Your Power Back show. You are an inspiration to all of us. We are just praying Godspeed for your journey. Run the race marked out with you, my sister, with all of your heart, not for man, but for the Lord.
I have fasted 214 days because I told myself I was going to fast until this case was over. Well, I thought I was going to fast until Donald Trump won, but I continued the fast, and I'm going to continue until the case is dismissed.
That's incredible. And I think that's really a call to action for all of us. If we really want to see change, we want to see transformation, and we're going to walk in faith and belief, there's something powerful about letting go, denying the self in that way of fasting, and then going to God in those times where we're wanting to fill ourselves with something. I mean, it might not just be food. It could be information. It could be social media, whatever that is. So thank you so much for reminding us of the importance of fasting and the grace of God, and how important it is to continue to have big ideas, to continue to dream and shoot for the moon and land on the stars. You are a warrior. I love you, my sister. Thank you so much. Yeah, and awesome. And Merry Christmas.
Merry
I'm so
Christmas.
excited to reconnect. Hopefully we're going to run into one another again at AmFest or
Of course.
be together. And I just think you need to make it down to my neck of the woods. We need to go break some bread together.
I'm going to do that. But are you going to be at the inaugural? Are you coming to the inaugural?
You know, and actually, let me go back. I didn't mean on that fast. I meant after that fast, we're going to break bread together.
Right.
So the inauguration, you know, it's funny. I am working on tickets right now. So anyone behind the scenes that has tickets, I've already called my congressman, and I am in the great state of California.
Ooh.
So
you should have better luck.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. I'm on the list. I've already got the word back. So hopefully I'll be seeing you there at the inauguration.
I'll be there.
God
wouldn't miss
bless you.
it for the world.
This is historical, just like that amazing photo. And I'm going to go back to that photo because let's remind the people that the reality of someone who has gone through so much adversity and in the midst of adversity, it's Trevian Kuti. Look at her and Donald J. Trump. Absolutely. What a great mugshot. Sister, I love you. God bless you. Safe travels, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. So good, guys. Trevian Kuti. Oh my gosh, she is a rock star. You know, it's funny. When I first met Trevian, I was really blown away because I'm like, who is this warrior princess? You know, she's in this ammo gear and, you know, I'm pulling, I mean, literally, I had a line out the door for interviews for the Take Your Power Back show last year at AmFest. And I'm like, we got to figure this out and squeeze her in. There's something special about this woman. I had no idea who she was at the moment. It was like God just saying, you need to talk to her. And the great thing was we were able to, you know, squeeze her in and get a great interview with her. And that's, you'll find all of those types of interviews that we've done with amazing warriors over at my Rumble channel. That's rumble.com/C/take your power back. That's rumble.com/C/take your power back. Trevian Kuti with us today. Her information is down below. You can find her at Twitter or X at Free Trevian, Trevian. So we have a couple of thank yous before we close out the show. And I think these thank yous they're really vital. It is because of the people that support the Take Your Power Back show that we're able to bring on these freedom-loving warriors. This is one of my favorite sponsors. It's America First Java. You guys, America First Java is probably some of the best coffee that I have ever had. And what makes it so special is it is Arabica coffee. And how do you say that? And I still struggle with that word, but it's like Arabica coffee. It's organic. It is air roasted, and it is absolutely delicious. So my husband is one of those guys who loves the little Keurig cups, and it came to me the other day. He's like, Kim, we're running out of that coffee. We need that America First coffee. So guys, I want you to get your America First coffee and your mug today. So go get your America First coffee and your mug today. You can go to tobbjava.com. That's tobbjava.com. Let me put the correct ticker up here. Get your America First Java as well as your coffee cup at tobbjava.com. And with that being said, I'm going to take a sip of my delicious America First coffee. And cheers to you. This is Kim Yeater from the Take Your Power Back show. I pray that this holiday season is a time of incredible celebration, remembering and rejoicing in and celebrating that the battle is won already, that we already have a savior. Trump is my president, and Jesus is my Savior. Remember that moving forward, that we have everything we need. It is won. The war is won, but it's a matter of you and me and we the people standing in the gap right now. If you followed us on Take Our Border Back and you're taking a look at the Take Our Border Back sign behind me, the convoy, we've led the Take Our Border Back movement this past year across the country and have partnered with Mexico as a sovereign state and Canada as a sovereign state, given power back to we the people. But it all stood with having vision and dreaming big. God said, Kim, have your men stand in the gap at the border. And it was in that moment that they stood in the gap. And God said, have them declare out, close the border, close the border, close the border. And they declared it out. Bible says, God's word says, words have the power to bring life or death. The words we speak are the choice morsels we eat. You see, we are co-creators with Christ. Those seeds were planted. Then my brother from another mother, Mark Anthony, said, we're going to do a convoy on a show. And he said, I don't know where that came from. But lo and behold, we gathered the teams and we created from that image and from the declaration and the words declared that day that Take Our Border Back convoy. So it took we the people standing in the gap. That's how we are going to create his kingdom on this earth as it is in heaven, and drawing close to him and putting God back in his rightful place. So I want you to remember that this holiday season. Go and love the people in your life. Love your brothers, your family, your friends. And let me tell you this, and I think that this is so important. You saw Trevian today. Now, if Trevian Kuti allowed the wounds of the past to drive her actions and how she was receiving information, there's no way she would have been able to stand and continue to create so powerfully. So whatever wounds are there for you, whatever relationships where there's wounds, whatever is incomplete from the past, those wounds, the enemy's goal is to divide, conquer, and destroy, and to fill us with a pit of lies, since he is the father of lies. So we are called to take our thoughts captive, make them obedient to Christ. Go heal those wounds. Bring Jesus into those wounds. Do not let those wounds be filled with something that is not Jesus, because he is the great physician and the great healer. So Merry Christmas to every single one of you. We've got a couple shows left before the end of the year. Next week, we've got Bill Wells with us. Bill Wells is the mayor of El Cajon. He has been all over the news shouting about the border, bringing to light what's happening on the border. We've had some powerful conversations and some wonderful connections that are being made right now, because he's one of those people that's willing to stand up. So I know with what I know, I've got to get that information to him, and he knows what he knows. He needs to get that information to me, and we need to get that information to the people that are willing to stand up. So my friends, may God bless you. May God bless this country. And may you take your power back. Find us on all podcast platforms. You can find us at X at Real Kim Yeater. You can find us at Facebook at Take Your Power Back Show. Also, Kimberly Yeater. You can find us on Instagram at Take Your Power Back Show, as well as on all podcast platforms. With that being said, it's time. It's time to dream big. It's time to take your power back. Let's start that today. Go love somebody. And remember, he who began a good work in you will carry it out to the very end. And remember this, no matter what happens between now and the inauguration and thereafter, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because my brothers and sisters, your work of the Lord is not in vain. God bless. I'll see you on the other side. This is Kim Yeater.